to kick this thing off. Oh, okay. And
Got it.
all right, we're going to kick this thing off. Uh, welcome, and we are welcome to Rotary, and we're so glad that y'all are here. And we hope that you find the next hour of your time productive investment in your Rotary journey and in your Rotary career, and appreciate your taking time out of your busy schedule. You know, knowing as much as possible about the organization that we belong to really will help us create better experiences, better leaders, and it'll better enable you to be able to share your Rotary experience with others. We're going to have a 50,000-foot view of Rotary in our district. If you all have individual club orientations, go to that. This doesn't take the place of that. This is just a to give you a taste of what Rotary and what our district is all about. So, we can go to the next one, Diane.
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting my.
Okay.
I'll get it together here in a second. I'm trying to get. There we go. All right.
Okay. Well, this is our presenters for today. Just a quick introduction. My name's Jim Henry. I'm a past district governor from Northwest Austin. I'm also the district membership committee chair for this year. The district membership committee is a team of experienced and veteran Rotarians committed to support and help the clubs in growing Rotary. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to help you in any way that we can. Our second presenter will be past District Governor Diane Edwards of the Austin North Metro Passport Club. And she also is a member of the district membership committee. And she's the educational coordinator for the Rotary Leadership Institute. And you'll hear a little bit about that as we go along. And finally, we've got our district governor nominee, Todd Smith from the Rotary Club of Georgetown, who is also a member of our district committee. And he will serve as our district governor in Rotary year 2025-2026. So thanks for having these three here to help make today's program hopefully a little more interesting for you. There are other members of our district membership committee that I want to recognize that aren't here with us tonight. We've got Kent Bowles with the E Club, Jeff Coleman with Pflugerville, Jason Duckworth and Rod Henry, both of Temple, and Jim Darden of West Austin. So that's your district membership team. So what our program is today is designed to give you an overview of this wonderful organization that you belong to. We cover some important basics about the global organization. We're also going to dig into some aspects that are a little bit closer to home here in Central Texas and in your district. We're not going to, by the way, we're not going to be reading the slides. So keep kind of look at them as we go along, because we figure you can read it and we don't need to read it to you. So whenever I'm asked what is Rotary, I always like to say that it is the best humanitarian service organization on the face of the earth. Our service to others extends not only beyond our clubs, but throughout over 200 companies or countries around the world where Rotary has its clubs. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to turn this over to Diane right now, and she's going to go to the next phase.
Okay. On February the 23rd, 1905, Rotary came into existence when the first Rotary Club meeting was held in Chicago. And I'm sure you've probably heard this, but Paul Harris is recognized as the founder of Rotary, and there were actually 4 members. This group was founded on the principle of networking and later moved towards service opportunities as they move along in their Rotary world. Meeting locations rotated among the members, and that's where the word Rotary came from. It went to the various members' offices and provided fellowship and networking opportunities. However, by 1907, the group expanded their focus toward community service and with the installation of a public toilet outside City Hall in Chicago. That was the very first service organization, our service project. And in 1917, the Rotary Foundation was established, which is so important to what we do in our humanitarian service to the world. From a pre-World War I resolution calling for maintenance of peace to our continuing support of Rotary Peace Centers, Rotary and its members continue to hold that premise as the central focal point of our object of Rotary. We have a long history of promoting peace and working to address the underlying causes of conflict in communities around the world. Did you know that Rotary was instrumental in the formation of the United Nations? These statements serve as our overarching guide for Rotary work and service. The 4 statements on this slide, the object of Rotary. The 4-way test. This is all very familiar to us because many clubs recite the 4-way test as a part of their regular meetings. But the 4-way test was actually created in 1932 by Rotarian Herbert J. Taylor. It was one of the world's most widely printed and quoted statements of business affairs now. The 4-way test has been translated into more than 100 languages and obligates each Rotarian to apply 4 tests to all that they think, say, or do. The reason for the asterisk there by the word 4 on this slide is that some clubs have added an optional 5th test. Will it be fun?
That would be fun, sure.
We hear that a lot too. So then, Rotary's vision statement. The vision statement broadly encompasses who we are and why we do what we do as an organization and as members. Change just doesn't happen by itself. Notice the highlighted words: together, people, create, change. So Todd.
Thanks, Diane. So now that we kind of have a little bit of the foundational aspects of this organization, I want to cover some of the ways that we take action. Rotary has identified several areas of focus to which they will allocate resources to effecting change around the globe. These areas of focus, or some people will call them causes, they were recently expanded to include a new focus for supporting the environment. All of our grant funding efforts for projects fall into one or more of these focus areas. I like to use action words when I talk about these areas, since Rotarians are known as people of action. And now if you look sort of at the graphic here on the slide, starting at the 12 o'clock position, I'm going to tell you that the first one there is promoting peace. Then we have fighting disease. We providing clean water. We're promoting maternal and child health. We're supporting education and literacy. We're growing local economies, and we are supporting the environment. Those are our absolute core areas of focus and the things that Rotarians do worldwide. But Rotary is organized. It is really built. In fact, I have a problem with the way that this slide maps out, but nevertheless, I think it actually should be flipped on upside down. But we are an organization of 1.4 million Rotarians and Rotaractors who belong to over 46,000 Rotary and Rotaract clubs around the world. Not to get too much in the weeds, but these clubs are grouped into 529 districts. And as you know, we are District 5870. Everybody has a number. And these districts are further grouped into what are called paired zones or regions, and each is headed by a Rotary director. Now, just FYI, we have parallel organizations running. We have the Rotary International itself, which is the clubs and which we are all members of, but there's also a Rotary Foundation organization, and that operates under a separate board of trustees. It's the 501c3 organization, and we can be proud of the fact that it's one of the most highly respected charities according to the independent watchdog Charity Navigator. In dealing with the Rotary Foundation, it offers a wide variety of options to support the many number of activities that Rotary undertakes. We have, of course, our signature initiative, which was started back in the 1980s for the eradication of polio. But we also have opportunities to provide emergency relief when disaster strikes. But fundamentally, what I understand as a Rotarian is that the Rotary Foundation is fully engaged on a global level. The interesting thing about annual funds, which you will hear a lot about in your club or throughout the year, is that your contributions to the annual fund go to the Rotary Foundation, but after 3 years, a significant portion of those come back to you and come back to your club so that you can support local causes and projects. Our district for the past 15 or so years has ranked among one of the top giving districts in North America and occasionally also the world. And this year, I am really excited to announce, because I was there when it was announced last week, we were recognized as the top district out of 23 in our region for foundation support for the past year. So District Governor Shannon Coleman received the award, and we were all very, very excited. So thank you to everyone in the district for achieving that level. That hasn't even been hit the press yet. That's hot off the press. But so the ways that Rotary Foundation, I love this. In fact, I asked Foundation Chairman Jerry Chapman, I said, how would you describe in a simple phrase, what is the Rotary Foundation? Because I don't think new members understand necessarily that this is the reason that things get done. And he said, Todd, it's the fuel to make a difference. I love that expression because it tells you exactly what the Rotary Foundation is all about. It takes your gifts and transforms them into service projects that change lives. And that's what I think that we're all doing. All of our grants address all 7 areas of Rotary focus. Primarily, the most significant projects that we do seem to be in the area of disease prevention and treatment and water sanitation and hygiene. Just for some data, in the 21-22 year, because they haven't released last year's completely, the foundation supported 478 district grants for a total of 27 million. They had emergency response grants for a total of 8 million. The foundation funded 1,200 global grants for a total of 73 million. And they supported the very first program of scale grant, which is a large scale, long-term grant for $2 million. So the Rotary Foundation is doing a lot of things, but it all comes from the club members who bubble up their projects and are looking for funding. But Rotary isn't just you and your club. We have a lot of different ancillary organizations that help us grow Rotary, and they serve a number of demographics and interests. There are memberships, let's say, for Interact at the high school level. The young adult level has the Rotaract option, but there are also Rotary fellowship groups, which I've been speaking a lot to a number of the clubs about. Those are organizations that are either based on causes or expertise, hobbies, or recreational interests. But we offer a number of different ways. In addition to your club membership, you can pursue your passion with like-minded individuals. For example, there are over 120 Rotary fellowships that are formed around these common areas of interest like camping or aviation or wine appreciation or classic cars. Memberships are available and they work along your existing membership to give you an added benefit. And fellowship members, this is one of the best options for clubs. You don't have to be a member of Rotary to be a member of the fellowship. So therefore, they provide a great membership attraction opportunity. The last thing I want to talk about here for the moment is to talk about other programs which are often funded by the Rotary Foundation, and they support one or more areas of focus. They are available to members, and then there are even scholarship programs that are funded by the foundation, but those are open to non-members. We have friendship exchanges where a delegation from one district would travel and spend time with members of another, and oftentimes the reverse cycle is done as well. That can be both domestically here in North America, or it could be an international opportunity. Youth exchanges work the same way. Could be domestically. We send a team of kids to another district or region or country, and vice versa. They typically return a delegation to us. We also have global and peace scholarships, and we also have opportunities for you, should you choose to be interested in serving on district committees.
Did the guy at Twitch, the DJ that said committed suicide, they're saying that his wife is
Sorry, I thought someone was asking a question there, but the opportunities for expanding your sphere really centers around the fact that we believe that learning more about our world, it cultivates better friendships and contributes to world peace, that peace that Diane was talking about originally. These exchanges are a great way to learn about other cultures and customs, and quite often they form the basis of lifelong friendships. So I'm going to turn it over back to PDG Jim to tell us a little bit more about our district.
I need to unmute myself. Okay. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. Listen, if anybody has any questions as we go along, please feel free. We're doing pretty good time-wise. So feel free to throw something in the chat or just jump in. I think we've got a little time.
I got a quick question. It's actually for probably Todd. When it comes to the different organizations that, the affiliations, like Interact and Rotaract, can all members in each club participate outside of their club in these organizations, or can they kind of pick where they want to go and help out? Like, is Boy Scouting a part of one of those, or how does that work?
Well, if we're talking about fellowships, and I think that's what you're referring to, is that right, Randall?
Yeah, I believe so. Something that reaches out, helps those various organizations, youth-based and what have you.
Yeah, there's a couple different things, and just for to keep it simple, clubs, if you will go with me on this, clubs are geographically centered organizations. You live or work or have a reason to be in your community, so you've joined that locally organized Rotary Club. Right. Fellowships are the absolute flip side of that. They are interest-based organizations without regard to geography. So typically what happens is you'll have members from around the world, all with your interest. I'll pick you mentioned scouting, for example. Mm-hmm. There is a fellowship of scouting Rotarians. Those fellowship groups, much like I mentioned the classic car one or some of these others, these are really what I believe is Rotary's secret sauce to keeping our members engaged and providing them a resource. Yes, you can join them as a Rotarian member of the Waco Club. Doesn't alter your membership in any way, but you choose to join the things that you want to be involved in. And let's say perhaps your partner wants to also join, but he or she is not a member of Rotary. That's fine. You can both join a fellowship group. It doesn't require you to be a Rotary member. What your question was?
Yeah, that's great. So it really helps retention. It keeps everybody engaged, but they also find their own chemistries, and they kind of, they create new family relationships almost.
It actually is. I've been tasked this year with promoting fellowships around the district and have gone for club programs to do this. But we find that, yes, it absolutely is a retention tool, and that's why we're doing it initially. But we also find that because of that non-member component, it
Mhm.
becomes a bit of a Rotary attraction tool too.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, no.
people say, wow, this is kind of a cool organization. Who's doing this? Boom,
Yeah.
there starts the Rotary conversation. So,
Great. Todd, that's awesome. Thank you. Because, action is really important versus sitting in a room with a lot of people. I like the action where you get out and you help others and,
Amen.
interact with the community. Yeah.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
All right, we will continue. There'll be opportunity for questions as we go along and at the end. I know we're going through this pretty quick, but we just want to give you a taste of the structure of Rotary and the taste of the structure of our district and some things that you may not learn. Again, if your club has a new member orientation, please go to that because this is not in lieu of that. You don't get to say, I went to member orientation because you went here. You got to go to your own club. This is just to help you a little bit with the district. So districts and zones. You've heard of districts. You may or may not have heard very much about zones. All the districts are put into zones. Now we are, and this is a map showing where our district is related to various zones. Now we are in zone 25B, which consists of 7 districts totally within the state of Texas. We are paired or coupled with another zone, which is 29, which has 17 other districts that run from a little bit of Oklahoma through the Midwest all the way up into Canada. So our paired zones, which are also referred to as Region 36 in North America, consist of 23 different districts, and your district is one of those, District 5870, part of Zone 25B. Now, we're going to narrow this down a little bit. You all know where your club is located and where some of the clubs in your area, but this map shows where all 57 clubs in our district are located. You can see they run from the north, Itasca, Corsicana, or to Fairfield, all the way to the south to Hallettsville and Yoakum, to the west over to Marble Falls, the east over to Somerville and Fairfield and Caldwell. It from top to bottom, it's about 400 miles, and east to west, and not quite, but it's a big district. Again, we have 57 clubs in our district. This is a list of all of them. We cover 23 counties. So of the Central Texas, that's why you say Central Texas, because it goes all the way from Itasca down to Yoakum. Every Rotary year, the district governor, and Todd's going to be doing this pretty soon, and y'all, District Governor Bob Crouch is on with us today, so you all have seen him. The district governor makes a visit each year to each club at least once for their official visit. But typically, the governor will be at various clubs more than once to, take care of additional fellowship opportunities, to take part of their fundraisers, and various things, just to be in touch with the district. So we're going to talk about the district governor later. Okay, here's a very important website. The district website, www.rotarydistrict5870.org. Put that in your favorites. Use that. The district website will tell you where you can learn more about what's going on in our district. You can see what innovative fundraisers and club projects are going on outside of your club. You can take part in those. Each of those tabs, when it opens up, this is what it looks like. All those tabs at the top, those have all got drop downs, can tell you about membership, can tell you about foundation, youth, gives you so much information about our district and all the initiatives that are going on in our district. This is also the place, as many of you found out, where you go to register for events like this event, but when we start having other district events, either seminars or webinars or conferences or galas, that's where you'll go and register to take part in all those various district events. Go to this thing, use it, read through it, be familiar with it. It'll tell you a lot about our district and probably will answer a lot of questions you might have otherwise. It gives a lot of resources about membership and foundation. It tells you a lot. So make sure you do that. Make sure you set up your own personal login on your home club's web management system so that you'll have access to all the district information just as well. Okay. Here's the district leadership team in a nutshell. You can see the governor, the district governor line, the various, these are the officers basically. The district governor is responsible. When I was governor, we called it the CEO. Where basically the district governor is responsible for all 57 clubs in our district, which encompass around 2,100 Rotarians throughout our district. On the district leadership team, this is just a very, very small part of it. The district membership team has over 100 Rotarians involved in serving in various positions throughout the district. Great opportunity if you want to get involved in some district stuff to say, I'd like to be on the leadership team. What can I do? There's a lot of positions out there, and that's what the district governor does. They have to appoint all of these positions. Some of them are yearly, some of them last for 3 years, but they're out there, and they're like I said, there's over about 100 of them. Okay, now the district governors are selected 2.5 years in advance of their original term or their official term, and they go through intensive training to better serve the members. You have your district governor. Bob went through all this training. Our district governor-elect, which is the year behind Bob, which is Doug Smith, who has just got through with most of his intensive training. The district governor nominee, which is Todd, who you've seen here, is after Doug Smith. And he's basically just beginning his training for 2.5 years worth of training so that he can be the most effective district governor that he can be. Now, the district governor is nominated, any incoming district governor is nominated by the clubs. So, and that person, once they're nominated, they're called the district governor nominate designee. And that is selected in December of each year. We're in that process now of clubs submitting who they think would be a good candidate for the Rotary year after Todd. And that person will be selected in December. So that's kind of the way that the district leadership is structured, how the district governor gets appointed, and what their basic duties are. So if there are any questions with this, we can take it now. If not, I'm going to throw it back to Todd. If you're ready to roll, Todd.
I am ready. You wowed him. No, what I wanted to move on to is just kind of talking about some of the district events that happen throughout the year that you might have an interest in. And so that you have a little bit of understanding of what they are when you hear about them, we decided to mention these. And the first thing that I wanted to mention is we actually do training for club leaders. And that isn't just your president and president-elect, but it's all of your key committee chairs that cover the avenues of service. Your club treasurers and secretaries are part of that club leader training. We do that in the spring so that you're rising into your new Rotary year, which of course starts July 1. And we want to get you trained to help understand and fulfill the role that you're taking on. We also do several different what we call district learning forums, which we do forums on membership. We did one about a month or so ago, I guess it was. We did a foundation seminar, and we're going to be doing public image training seminar or forum here this year. So those things are free. They're typically done hybrid, both in Zoom and in person. And so those are opportunities to learn a little bit more about some of these key areas. They're the legs of the tripod that forms a successful Rotary organization: membership, foundation, and public image. Also during the year, we do something we call a foundation gala, and that is really to celebrate the things and the individuals who have been supporting our the good work of the Rotary Foundation from our district. And so the foundation gala is typically held in the early spring months, and that's really a beautiful evening, and it's a good way to celebrate and collaborate with other donors. And then the big thing that happens each and every year, and I encourage each of you to consider attending, is our district conference of clubs. It really is designed always. I mean, every governor I've heard recently says, I'm going to be different. I'm going to make it fun. Well, that it is. Everyone says that, and it always typically is a time for fun. It's an end of year gathering for fellowship and fun, to celebrate our yearly achievements and to get together. It's also something that we've seen recently. It's great for you to bring the whole family if you want to. But at each of your club visit meetings, you've been probably hearing from Governor Bob. You have been hearing from Governor Bob about his district conference, which will be held this year in Killeen at the first weekend in May. And hopefully you'll think about digging into this and consider coming. It's a great way to meet other Rotarians from around the district. Wanted to also tell you about, because a lot of people don't understand quite where monies from the foundation, what they support. I told you earlier that a significant portion of the monies that you give to the annual foundation, to the Rotary Foundation annual fund, do come back to the district in 3 years' time. And the way that those are applied to the district financial situation is we, first off, give DAP grants. Those are District Assistance Program grants. We use the term, we use lots of terms in Rotary that are jargon and terminology that sometimes are confusing to people. But I actually had to refresh my own brain to figure out what DAP grants are. I've called them that for so long, but it's District Assistant Program grants. Those are the grants that you and your clubs seek monies or receive monies from the district as a result of giving 3 years prior to help fund some of your local projects. Okay. If you're not familiar with what those projects are, it'd be a great question for you to ask your club president or even your foundation chair, what projects have been funded by DAP grants when you get to your next meeting. The monies also support global grants and scholarships. Global grants are on occasion. We actually just funded 4 global grants just recently out of our district, but they also fund certain scholarships. The big one that I hope everybody does take notice of is there is what we call CTES, the Career and Technology Educational Scholarship Program, which is a $5,000 scholarship that is awarded each year. Multiple scholarships are awarded. It just depends upon funding levels. And those are for those that may not be the top 1% or whatever in their classes, but those are people that are really going to get a more of a technology or career related educational program. Nursing, we've had welding, we've had machine shops, we've had all kinds of things, truck driving even. But it's for those other students that need support as well. And those funds can pretty much be used for anything related to the educational pursuit, including living expenses or daycare expenses or what have you. The last thing that we use the funds for, after distributing to the clubs, we try to conduct some sort of a district service project. This year, the funds are being used to support the homeless care kits that are being done by District Governor Bob's service project this year, and possibly a few other little things and so forth. They're used, it just really depends on what those get used for, but it's for a district-wide service project. Now, this is the fun slide. This is the fun slide. I'm just going to start out by saying Rotary loves bling, okay? That's what I wanted to title this slide, but it really is recognition, but recognition for you and your support of the Rotary Foundation. And I think this slide will help you at certain point if you happen to see somebody wearing a certain pin on his or her garment, you can actually understand what they are used for. I'm not going to go through all of them in great detail, but I will tell you that the one marked number 1, that is a Paul Harris Fellow pin. When you have given at least $1,000 or more to the annual fund, Polio Plus, or an approved foundation grant. Okay, so for that, you receive that particular pin. For each additional $1,000 that is contributed in your name, in option 2, you will see several. First, they have additional sapphires forming the ring, and then when we graduate for up to 5, I believe, and then 6 through 8 or 6 through 9 are given with rubies. Someone have a question? Sorry, I wasn't. If you make a stronger commitment to give $1,000 every year, you could actually become a member of what's called the Paul Harris Society, and that little banner attaches underneath the pin, and it says that you are pledging $1,000 per year every year, and it's kind of a commitment. I do it by just giving it, so I don't even see the money every year. It just goes out the door, and it's the easiest way to give. Some of these others are when you become a benefactor by your pledging to give upon your demise, or if you do even more significant things, if you do more significant things, you could become a member of what's called the Bequest Society. That's when you are naming the endowment fund as a beneficiary, either in your life insurance policy or in a codicil to your will. You can become a member of the Rotary's Benefactor Society. There are other pins there in number 7. We have major donors who have given a minimum of 10,000, and typically they go up by 25,000 thereafter. Those are major donors to the foundation. And then you only rarely see one of these pins, but it's an amazing opportunity if you actually do see someone with an Arch Clump Society pin. That means that person has given $250,000 or more to what is known as the Preeminent Society in Rotary, and that's the Arch Clump Society. The last thing, number 8 down there, not that it's absolutely necessary, but crystals, these paperweight crystals are given for each of the major level donor recognitions that are awarded. I think that was a mouthful, but I think it's also useful for you to know what opportunities for recognition are there, but also even better, when you see another Rotarian wearing that pin, it evidences their support of the foundation, and I think they deserve to be thanked for that kind of support. So I'm going to turn it over to Diane.
Okay. Thank you, Todd. For most of us, it's not enough to just attend meetings, and we want to feel like we're being engaged in what we're doing. True engagement happens when you are not only passionate about something, but doing something along those lines that helps to fill your soul. We've heard a lot about the importance of engagement. Randall mentioned it as a fellowship, as a possibility. To maximize your membership, think of the impact that you could make on others for your community by serving them in some capacity. Step forward and volunteer when your club has activities, service projects, or fundraisers, and lend a hand. Don't sit on the sidelines. Better yet, if your club isn't doing something to address your passion, approach the club leaders and share your idea for an activity. In order to receive communications from Rotary International and your club, be sure to register for an account on myrotary.org. I would be interested in knowing, does everybody on this call tonight have a MyRotary account? If you don't, you sure need to get one, because it's the key to a whole multitude of opportunities for you to learn more and to grow in Rotary. You can see all kinds of information about your club, and your district on the Rotary website. Your foundation giving history is there, including recognitions for which you are eligible. Access to the Learning Center. That's another direction that Rotary is taking us more and more every year. And I'm really high on the Learning Center. They've improved the modules so much. You can go to the Learning Center on the Rotary.org website and pretty much get an orientation to just about any program you're interested in. There are video tutorials about all things Rotary and a plethora of ways that you can engage. So now I'm going to pass the mic on to our district chair, Jim Henry, to close us off for the evening.
All right, thank you, Diane. I just want, before we open it up for questions, if there are any, I just wanted to say, thank you guys for showing up, for being here. I know it took some of your time, and your time is very valuable, and we really do appreciate that. The intent of this thing was just to give you a taste of all there is in Rotary that's outside of your club. There's so much to Rotary. There's so many good friends that you can make in Rotary by attending different district events. I really, really encourage you to at least go to one district type event this year, whether it is a webinar training, a seminar, the district conference, the foundation gala. You'll get to meet Rotarians from all over Central Texas. You'll get to share ideas. You'll get to learn what they're doing. You'll get to learn projects. You may have fundraisers or projects you want to collaborate on with other clubs. It's just such a great opportunity to expand your Rotary journey outside of your own club. Lots to do in your own club. I totally understand that. But it really opens up the world of Rotary to you when you go outside of your club and take part in some of these other district events. Take part in the foundation giving, take part in becoming actively engaged, not only in your club, but in your district. And that's what we're trying to get over to you today. Again, I hope you found all this information helpful and somewhat informative in understanding our great, wonderful organization. Before we go, I'll open it up for any questions that you have or comments. How can we do better? How can we do different? But please ask. Governor Bob, you have your hand up.
I do. First off, I'd like to start off and thank everyone that's on here tonight for taking this opportunity. We know this is family time. This is private time for most people, and for us to take some of your time on a Monday evening is much appreciated. I hope you got a lot out of it. I also want to extend the thanks to the membership team for putting this together. Thank you all for all the hard work you did in this. And again, for those of you on the call, this is just meant to be a kind of a broad brush overview. I hope it's inspiring questions that you may not be prepared to ask right now, but you may think over the next couple of days. Please reach out to the membership team or really anyone on the district staff. We are here for one reason and one reason only. The district exists to resource your clubs as necessary. We're here to help, and I know that isn't always something that comes with great honesty or truth, but it does from us. So I certainly hope that you'll ask more questions and that you got a lot out of it tonight. Thank you all.
Thanks, Governor Bob. Appreciate the kind words. Well, if we have no other questions, like Bob said, you may have questions later on. Go to your club president. Go to anybody on the district membership team. You all have got all my my email address from all this registration stuff. So please send me something. Any comments that you have on this will be greatly appreciated. Again, thank you so much for your time. We got you out of here in less than an hour.
Jim,
which was our yes, Todd.
Jim, there's a request in the chat to add or to supply our emails to the group.
Okay.
If we can do that in the chat, Diane, will you put yours in as well?
We will put our emails in on the chat.
Will do.
We can figure out how to do it.
Just do it like a text.
Yeah, there we go. Meeting group. Let's see.
Thank you, Randall. I interpreted Shirley's question about she wanted to get a hold of us, but she can get a hold of you too.
Oh yeah, you know what? I have a feeling we're going to get a hold of each other eventually. No, there's this is the whole idea of just understanding where you need to go, how to navigate things. I think I'm still getting used to that. I have really hopefully a quick question, but when it comes to leadership advancement and how you actually groom or develop leaders within the organization, is there a particular time frame in which you can take, because most of us are all new, don't expect to be running for any particular office or position right now, but is there like an ascension, a number of events to go to, a suggested amount or something like that?
Well, normally a lot of the clubs, Randall, will have their own succession plan.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, let's say you want to be president, well, you need to be on the board first, and then you have to have certain offices, and you work your way up. Some of the smaller clubs, you'll notice maybe that they may have had the same president for 2 or 3 different times, not necessarily in a row, but different times like that. Mm-hmm. So it's there's not a specific thing that says, okay, you've got to be in Rotary for a year before you can take on any kind of a club leadership. Mm-hmm. The main thing in that regard is you don't want to overwhelm somebody that's brand new, throw them into a position where they don't understand a lot about Rotary, or they don't understand a lot about the club. That's why we number one of the things that Diane is in charge of is the educational part of what's called the Rotary Leadership Institute, which will help you groom yourself for future leadership responsibilities in your club. But again, there's no specific time limit. It's just a matter of you really need to know not to throw somebody that's a new member of the club and say, okay, next year you're going to be president, and they don't have an idea of what's going on. Mm-hmm. I hope that helps. Like in your club, it's large. There's probably a good succession plan about how to do it. But some of our clubs, a lot of people don't understand that some of our clubs have 7, 8 members, and they're not all huge. And so they kind of have to train them on the fly, but that can be done. Hopefully
that what you have to maintain a certain amount to keep the charter open? No, so
there's no, I mean, what you have to do, and Bob, you throw in if you have anything you want to say, there's no specific number, like you have to have X amount of numbers to stay. What you have to do, though, is be able to function as a fully functional Rotary club. In other words, if you have just a very few members and you're not meeting and you're not really doing anything, you're not contributing to the foundation, then the district governor has the option to pull your charter. Mm-hmm. We've got clubs with 7, 8 members that are highly functional, that they do a lot in their community. They just don't have a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Jim, you're correct. There's a list of 14 items or 14 things the club has to do to be considered a functioning club. And so there is no club size on that, but we do evaluate some of the smaller ones, quite honestly, based on where they are on that spectrum. But as far as that's concerned, Randall, I think I would take the time to learn as much about Rotary as you can and figure out where your passion fits in with what's available. Sure. And so there's different ways, whether that's our Rotary Leadership Institute, the district training assembly, or district training assembly in the spring is an opportunity for you to learn more about the various positions within your club that are also exist at the district level. And then again, it's been mentioned several times here, the Learning Center on Rotary on My Rotary is a great way to get your feet wet. What we've had some clubs, quite honestly, that have last year we had a club that made a Rotarian that had been a Rotarian for all of 3 months made him president. And that is not a recipe for success. So I encourage at the club level, if at all possible, spend your first year, 18 months, maybe 2 years, just getting to understand your club and Rotary. And then from there, volunteer to be on a committee in your club and then build your way up that way.
Sure. Bob, thank you. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I mean, a lot of resources, but you just take it one step at a time.
Yeah, I'll echo what Bob said and then throw another option for you. I mean, you might perhaps be the personality type that sitting around and waiting for 18 months or 2 years, as he suggested, might be too long. Particularly if you've arrived at your club thinking that, you know, there's a pet project or a passion project, as I call them,
Yeah.
a passion project that you really want to do that they're not doing yet. But I think the message in one of the slides that I believe Diane shared with us towards the end was step forward. Talk to the leaders in your club and say, I've got this idea. Either,
Right.
you know, am I smoking crack about it, or is there a way that we can do this? One, you're probably going to be named project chair, just how it often works in an organization. But by stepping forward and proposing something that is your passion, I will tell you that I, as a leader, as a club president, would much rather hear from you than sometimes from a project chair that has, okay, we're going to do such and such and such and such, you know, whatever. I would rather have a passion project brought to me and run with that if it has merit. So.
Yeah, Todd, thank you. I think it's going to be Boy Scouts. I really do, because I'm already a district commissioner. I've been a national board member for Boy Scouts for a number of years. So I think that's the path. It's and it seems to align perfectly with Rotary and so many of the mission and vision statements, you know.
Well, Randall, if I may,
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce you to Michael Files, who's also on this call.
I know he was actually, we were just chatting with each other. So
Okay.
we started very good. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. I think what's happened. Yeah. These are the things that just kind of just create their own inertia, you know?
Yeah, and one time, Randall, our club at one time, we actually sponsored a scout troop. So it's not only just through the fellowships, but your club can actually take on the responsibility of mentoring and sponsoring a troop as a club project.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've got a lot of that going on already, and I've experienced that over my 18 years as a adult leader. So I see a lot of community service organizations being great chartered organizations. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Well, listen, I appreciate it. Again, we got you out of here in less than an hour, which was our goal. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, rest of your week. Any questions, please email us. You've got all our email addresses in the chat. Remember, we're recording it, and it will be on our district website under the membership tab. There'll be a tab that says district orientation video. That's where this will be. There'll be another tab that says district new member orientation, which is where the slides will be. So hopefully everybody has a great time. Diane, you can probably stop recording now.
Okay.
And we will see everybody next time around the campus. Hopefully to see you at some